This is our new educational series or helpful series, Compliance on the Couch, all right? And today we're going to be talking about Safe Harbor 401k plans.
So Christopher, what is a Safe Harbor 401k plan?
A Safe Harbor 401k plan is a plan where the employer makes certain contribution obligations so that the owners of the company don't have to worry about non-discrimination testing.
So it's that big word, commitment.
Yes, it is a big word, commitment, but it's only a commitment for 1 year at a time.
Okay. Most of us can handle it, a commitment for at least a year.
Hopefully.
Right? So there's two kinds, right?
There's two types of Safe Harbor contributions. There's one that's a Safe Harbor match and one that's a 3% Safe Harbor non-elective. Now, the normal formula for Safe Harbor match has an employee have to defer 5% or more in order for them to get 4%, but the 3% Safe Harbor non-elective is how much?
3%.
3%. And it goes to everybody who's eligible, who's been there long enough to be in the plan. It goes to everybody whether they're deferring or not.
Oh, you were going to do the percentage lullaby.
No. What? The percentage lullaby. All right, I was trying to skip over some of the numbers and not give the formula for the Safe Harbor match based on how the artist wants to do it. She just called it the Safe Harbor match lullaby. All right, I'm sorry, I find it very amusing. So what that means is the normal default formula that the IRS expects us to use for a Safe Harbor match is 100% of the first 3%, 50% of the next 2%. Does that sound okay? All right. That's the Safe Harbor match lullaby. That means you have to defer 5% or more to get a 4% Safe Harbor match. And it maxes out at 4%.
I call it that because after you've heard it for the third time, you go to sleep.
There's got to be some downsides to having a Safe Harbor 401k plan, I'm sure, right?
Well, you got to contribute money to the plan.
Well, the employer has to.
You're on the hook. It's a commitment.
Exactly.
Know your commitments.
There's three main issues to pay attention to. All right. There is a commitment to a company contribution for that whole 12-month period. All right. Whether it's the Safe Harbor match or the 3%. The company contribution is immediately 100% invested from second one. So you can take it with you? You can take it with you. And you can't have an hours or a last day requirement on that Safe Harbor contribution, which you can have with other contributions. But if somebody leaves that was eligible, they leave on January 3rd, guess what? They're getting a contribution. All right. Yes, it's going to be a small amount, but they're going to get something. All right.
Yep. So what's the example of a company who would want to start a Safe Harbor plan?
A good example for starting a Safe Harbor plan is basically one of two types. One where there's the owner and that person has substantially only minimum wage staff. In other words, they're not likely to defer. They very often do a Safe Harbor match because that means they get to do their maximum deferral. They get the match. And there's not likely to have much contribution for the rank and file. The opposite is somebody who wants to be able to maximize their own allocation each and every year. They know the most cost-effective way to do that is to have a Safe Harbor contribution so that they can do the 401k. So it's kind of two ends of the spectrum.
Okay. So quickly, how do they start a Safe Harbor plan and what can you do?
There's nothing special about starting a Safe Harbor 401k plan, nothing any more special than starting a regular 401k plan, except you need to remember it has to have at least 3 months in it, all right? We're filming this video late in the year, so it's too late to start a Safe Harbor plan for this year.
We've already had a hard frost.
We've already had a hard frost. That's not in the regs. Okay, but we can obviously set up a 401k plan for next year. And as with everything having to do with compliance questions, ERISA questions, anything like that, it always starts at sales@hunterbenefits.com.
Sounds great.
Sounds great. All right.
Yeah.
So this is hopefully the first of hopefully a many episode series of Compliance on the Couch. Let us know what other questions you'd like us to answer. Take care.